Grand Rising. I did a video last night on my YouTube page, and the Most High and Holy Spirit brought something to my attention that I wanted to bring out this early, beautiful morning that we're seeing here, the morning that the other nations are getting ready to start to experience. They're actually beginning to experience this morning now that they've been telling us good morning and telling us to enjoy it. Well, you guys got the blessing, and a big thing or portion of it was the land that was given to you. Now, I've done this many years ago. We talked about this system called the Encomenda System. In this Encomenda System, Spain would give these Spaniards like these large portions of land and everything on top of it, right? So they would get the resources that were under the land, but they would also get to control the people that lived on their Encomenda systems, right? So they would work the men to death. They would do whatever they wanted to do with the women. They'd make them work the mines. They would work them to death. They'd starve these people out. They were pretty much like their own little country in every one of these little encomienda systems. Well, now, fast forward to now, today. A couple of days ago, I was at the Mexican border, and you keep hearing people saying, well, I wasn't part of slavery, blah, blah, blah. But I said, yeah, but you got these fake imaginary lines up here, and you guys all have these supposed sovereignty in these different areas, but you also have control over the people on top of the land as well, right? So in the video I did last night, I'm going to use this video when we do a live, probably later on today if I have time, where this woman's talking about how, like, if you try to leave, you're discriminated against in America, and you think you're going to come to Mexico, it's going to be any different. That's not the case. The Mexicans and the Latin Americans, all the Latin American countries, she said, discriminate against so-called black people. And she also mentioned that the so-called indigenous people, she was pretty much equating the black people to being the indigenous people, right? So, but the thing is that they all are working on an encomienda system. Every single country has been given its territory by the so-called European colonizers, right, for the most part. And then, but they have to follow certain rules, right? So all of these countries put the so-called Negroes at the bottom. All of them look at us disdainfully, with disdain. They hate us. And that's biblical prophecy, because it says that pretty much we're going to be known as a proverb and a reproach worldwide. So this encomienda system perpetuates that. It fulfills that curse that no matter where we go, we're going to be looked at, horribly. People are going to have disdain for us. They're going to hate us no matter where we go. So now you go to Mexico. You got this fake border that they just put up, in the 1800s, right? But like the lady in the video says, she's like, well, we have these girufonos, and that they're like looked at as like subhuman. We look at them as subhuman, subculture, subhuman, and that they don't even look at them as like being parts of Honduras, even though they were the original people. And she says, yeah, and they steal their land and they kill them. But, that's just the way that it is. You're just going to have to learn how to deal with it. And I was like, okay. And I said, these are the same people that go to church on Sundays talking about white Jesus and how it's all about love, love, love. Today, all of a sudden, now everything's about love, right? But she has this just flippant attitude, like, well, that's just, racism is just how it is. And you just have to learn how to deal with it. That's just how it is. And that's fine. But see, now the Most High has raised us up to tell you that, well, now you're going to have to pay for all this. You have to pay for for how you destroy the Most High's chosen people. And now all of a sudden, we're being called narcissists, racist, all these different things, right? I said, but that's the thing. Like, well, why don't you just get used to it? That's just the way that it is. You're gonna have to pay for the sins of your fathers. That's just the way that it is. Why don't you just accept it? But see, no, all of a sudden now we're racist and everything else for bringing out this truth. But you weren't racist when you knew that these things were happening to our people and you just didn't care. That you never fought for the justice of our people. You never fought for the equality of our people. But now that we're telling you that you're going to have to pay for these actions, all of a sudden now we're the problem? Why don't you just accept it like you told us to? See, the Most High has a way of flipping everything around. And the things that you say come back to haunt you. It's coming back to bite you in the ass now, right? So just think of all these states, all these countries as the encomienda system. And look it up yourself and do a little research yourself, and you'll see. They were given certain lands, right? But, they had to do whatever they're told because, there's still somebody above them, right? Now, see, when you go to these other countries, they treat the so-called white man like God. He's been able to go to land after land, and everybody just loves him, and and all the women just flock to him and everything else because he's got the money, he's got the status. Again, all part of the Encomenda system. But as so-called black people, we're like not even looked at as having rights. That's what the woman even said. Like, it's like, you guys, they don't even look at you like as part of Honduras. So the same thing as America. We weren't even looked at as citizens. Like all these laws that and all these great freedoms that you free Edom. Yeah, that's pretty much what you're going to celebrate on the 4th of July. You're going to celebrate free Edom. Let Edom be free to do whatever the hell he wants to do. And that's exactly what freedom is talking about. That one group of people gets to be above all others, right? But see, that is all now quickly coming to an end. And now the people are having a hard time because the Most High is using the people that you've hated this whole time, that you put at the bottom, to bring this truth out. And it's irrefutable truth. Keep getting people coming to the comment boards, and, all they're doing is name calling. You're this, you're that. I'm like, can you talk about your history, bro? You're being this, you're being that, you're being cocky. Da-da. Can you talk about your history, bro? Can you talk about the history? Because you can't keep running to Paul. Paul was 2,000 years ago. Whatever you guys said Paul was trying to accomplish, he accomplished 2,000 years ago. You guys set up your churches. You set up your councils of Nicaea. You set up the Bible. You set up your religion, right? Hundreds of thousands, over 1,000, 1,500 years ago. Okay, so let's stop talking about if, salvation is for everyone, whatever else. Okay, well, if that's what you want to say, fine. But what have you done with your blessing? What have you done with your time on top? That's what you won't touch. None of you Christians, so-called Constantine Christians, whatever, I don't care what religion you are. All of a sudden now you got Catholics trying to come out, not Catholics, Muslims trying to come out and talk about, Putin brought out these colors and of Jesus Christ, and they're so-called black people, and Islam is the only way. What the hell does that have to do with anything? Right? What is Islam is the only way? See, you guys are just trying to interject yourselves now into this truth. You guys have all known who the Most High's chosen people are. You've all known the truth. And you've all turned a blind eye to it in order to get your little, your little heaven here on earth. You got your little Saudi Arabia, you got your little Iran, you got your little Iraq, you got your little Britain, you got your little Ireland. But so long as you hate these so-called Negroes in these lands, you're good. You're good. That's the Encomenda system to the T. You'll get the blessing, right? You're going to get the blessing that of the lands. You get to control your little piece of heaven. You get to do whatever it is that you want to do, for the most part, until the white man tells you otherwise. And when he tells you to jump, you say how high, because he's the one that actually really is in control of these lands. He just lets you get the illusion that you have some kind of autonomy, which you don't. Right? And now you took the bag, and they said all of these Encomenda systems, as long as you hated us so-called Negroes, you're good. That was a main prerequisite, because you can find it everywhere, all over the world. Now we understand why. You go to Japan, they hate you. You go to China, they hate you. You go to India, they hate you, right? Because they're all part of this Encomenda system, and they all have gotten their land, but the prerequisite was that they had to hate you and not give you opportunities. So that's how we could never escape. We were always trying to run and escape and find a better way, and we were never able to. Now we know it's because this Encomenda system that these people all been part of. Now all of a sudden nobody wants to be part of this system anymore. Oh, it's it's the elites, man. They screwed everything up. Well, they screwed everything up for a long time, but you had no problem when you had your land. See, we're the only ones that didn't have a land, right? Remember, we're just vagabonds here on the earth. No country wants us. Oh, you're African. Africans don't like us. And see, Africans they got their piece of the land too. They got their little piece of the Encomenda system too, so long as they hate our people. And now you understand why these so-called Africans hate our people too. All groups that have, because they know that, hey, eventually you're going to give all this back. You're going to be giving all this back. And it's not just about giving back and, okay, we're good. No, it's whatever the Most High says is how you're going to have to pay back, all the things that happen to our people. So look up the Encomenda system for yourselves, and then see if it doesn't fit what you see going on in these states. Much love, family. Shalom.